welcome to my September marketing and content ideas. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Claire in the City and I am working on marketing ideas for you all the time. I work as far in advance as possible. I love the seasonal calendar and I put together a bunch of ideas that you can use for your September content. So let's have a quick chat about awareness days while I do my hair. Hopefully you might spot the reference to Clueless. I'm going to try and do a bit of a Clueless Alicia Silverstone homage. So I actually use like a whole barrel thing on my hair because it's super straight. I'm going to try and get some kind of little bit of movement and waves in there today. I'm even sure it's on. So seasonal content and awareness days. So first of all, I always like to split this up into 3 different things when I explain it to people. There's the big events affect us all. And I put these down to being like kind of seasonal events. These are things like the weather, Christmas, autumn. These things affect all of us in exactly the same way, depending on what hemisphere you're in. So it's the kind of thing where you can create content around to connect with your audience really easily. And that's why I like autumn and winter and spring and summer and those defined areas so very much. Actually, I personally prefer spring. It's just before I get all the hay fever of summer and it's nicer than the cold temperatures of winter. Can I just say, it is like the hottest day in London. It's like 28 degrees. Normally I would not be sat here in a dressing gown doing this. The second type of seasonal events are things that could affect your customer, but not everybody. This could be a new book coming out or a new film coming out. And that could mean that your customer is interested in it, but not absolutely everybody. And this happens all the time. Finally, we've got awareness days, which are the ones that often are created by charities or by organisations looking to shed some light on their cause or event. A good example of this is World Book Day, which obviously draws attention to books and reading and getting kids especially into reading. And there's also things like Secondhand September and Movember, which are created to draw more attention to different causes. Again, these are things that you can get involved with if they're relevant to you, but you don't have to worry about them if they're not. Why are we even bothering with all of these awareness dates and seasonal content? Not only are your customers thinking about it, but also the media are thinking about it too. It means people are looking for things to buy, ideas to execute, and things to do. So this is where it's really important that if you have something relevant to add to the conversation, that you do so as much as possible. Also means that you can get a little bit more planned about your marketing. Like if you know something super relevant is coming up to you and your business, you can plan this way in advance, get your content all ready, tell the media that you're participating in it, and hopefully you'll get a few column inches and also your customers will be talking about it too. It's gone a bit too curly, hasn't it? Okay, I'm roasting. It's time to talk about September content ideas specifically, and I'm gonna get dressed. I'm just interrupting this video to show you the end result of the video I put together for September. For the new term, I always think about this opening scene in Clueless, where Alicia Silverstone has the amazing AI wardrobe, which I just love. It's a reminder that inspiration can strike absolutely anywhere. And it was a really challenging video to shoot and edit, so I learned an awful lot. Okay, as if, back to the video. Cher from Clueless isn't the only one feeling the new term vibes. And actually the beginning of September starts the beginning of autumn, depending on whether you're astronomical or meteorological, but either way, we come into autumn in this month. Also means that we are a mere 115 days until Christmas, 60 days to Halloween, 121 days until New Year. September is almost like that second New Year, so you can really reassess your goals and make sure you're going to hit everything you want to hit by the time it gets to New Year. So let's talk September content ideas specifically. So September is really important. Halfway through the year, you'll think of things like the March issue and the September issues of magazines as being particularly important. It's a kick-off point into a whole new season. So one of the great places to start with seasonal content, and these kind of ideas can work in any September, is to think of whatever people are featuring in these kinds of magazines. This is where you're going to find lots of roundups, lots of trends, lots of new ideas, what's coming for the season. You're going to find what we're looking for September as an overall. We're going to see what you're going to be looking at for the next few months. It'll be trends, it'll be top 10s, it'll be top lists, it'll be things to do, things to put in your diary. All those things really make up what goes into those September issues. And if you think about it in fashion terms or beauty or lifestyle, You can always be looking at telling people what the next trends are. So for example, with autumn, it's all about sweaters, isn't it? Like, what is our next color going to be? Different styles going to be, shapes. How are you wearing it? Tell us if that's what kind of industry you're in. We definitely want to know. New season will also bring a big energy shift. The autumn trends are not just specific to fashion either. You can do the same with makeup and hair, music, art. There's so many things happening in September as the temperature changes. What are you putting in your garden? How are you changing up your interiors? What food changes are you making? What foods are in season? How are you approaching changing over your wardrobe? How are you clearing your space? How are you making room for new things? What spiritual things are happening? Is the moon changing? We have shorter days, longer nights. What does that mean for your audience? Maybe you are working as an organizer and you're thinking about how everyone needs to declutter coming into that new season, and what to look for when you're taking everything out of your wardrobe that's been packed away all summer, and how to pack everything away again. So many different things to look at. Maybe you're a nutritionist and you're looking at how food is changing and evolving, and what things we can look at for winter, and how we can take care of ourselves over these months where it's getting colder and colder. There's so much to think about, so much we can work on, and this can work into everything from like blog posts to social media to videos, short videos, long videos, whatever you like. It's about getting those great ideas and getting them down on paper. It's a great idea before you move forward to wrap up the previous season. So I kind of like to do an end of summer wrap up. This can be anything from like a little carousel on Instagram, to doing a full-on video, to doing what you've kind of like learned from the summer. I always think it's really good to think about the season you're in and what you've enjoyed, what you're taking away, and what you wish you'd done. Whether this again is just something for you in your notes in your calendar, maybe you're making a blog post on it, maybe it's going to be a newsletter for your audience, but let's wrap up that summer season and then we can move on. One of my favourite things to do when I'm really lacking confidence in my content is to go back and look at the previous year. So look in your phone for September and look for all the different years and see what kind of things are working then. You can also look back through all of your previous social media posts and see what worked for you as well. For example, have you got lots of beautiful walks that you were taking? Was it getting back into nature? What really resonated with your audience that you were sharing then? Was it all the cozy jumpers? Was it the sweater weather? Is there something that you can build on this year? You can also use them as flashbacks to take the best performing posts from the previous years and reuse a few. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using content again, and I absolutely love to do that, especially across different platforms. And maybe you'll find archived things that you've never really shared before. It can even be like your top outfits or top memories or top places to visit in September, and they can also make great blog posts and newsletters as well to get back through your archive. As always with recurring seasons, where you've got September obviously occurs every year, we've got autumn every year. Go back and have a look at what people are searching for online. Just literally go to Google and start to look at what your audience might be looking at. You can have a look at what your audience was sharing last year as well. All these things can make inspiration for this September. And if you don't have time to execute things this time, make a note of them and you can do them next year. It literally comes around every year and there's nothing stopping us getting our kind of new term in order. Also take advantage of those kind of content that is not specific to September, which is just happening this September. So let's talk about a few of those now. Okay, I had to escape my flat because it was so hot and the cashmere wasn't helping. It's 28 degrees in London today. There are also a number of things happening in September that don't happen every single September. So this year I want you to think about books, films, anything that's on the scene that's coming up that you can take advantage of if you're a business or a content creator. This can include things like the new Beetlejuice film, which is including Jenna Ortega from the Wednesday series and Winona Ryder. And it's going to be massive. It's coming out before Halloween, so it's coming out early September. But that's a really great one to jump on board with if you like trends, given that Wednesday, the series, was so hugely popular. You can think about Beetlejuice themed fake outfits, makeup, that if it brings any memories back from when you were younger, maybe you need to go and see the older film too. Whatever it is, you can use this as a basis, if it's relevant to your customer, to make some really great content. Speaking of Netflix, we also have Emily in Paris coming back, which is the second part of the 4th series, I think. It was amazing the first half, and now they're trying to seemingly split it into 2 so that we get the benefit of extra excitement when we're waiting for the next one. Will be like the finale of that series, and then presumably we'll be getting another one after that. Can't imagine that they won't keep giving us more Emily in Paris, because it's so fun. But she really lends herself to lots of style inspiration because it's so out there and because it's so different. So it's really worth thinking about that for your kind of fall trends. September, as I've mentioned before, is a really big month for fashion. You do get the September issue, it's a really big one, and it's also second-hand September, so a big emphasis on sort of not buying new clothes but instead using the ones you've already got, or just buying from vintage shops. There's also a lot of inspiration around from all the fashion weeks, so this is where we'll be seeing lots of the inspiration for next year, for spring summer. So it's really worthwhile paying attention to the wonderful fashion weeks. They go from New York, London, Milan, Paris, so you get lots and lots of inspiration, and it cuts across lots of different places, cultures, and it's everything. It's whether you want to take inspiration from the hair, the makeup, the colours, the aesthetic. Very fun and worthwhile keeping tabs on. The calendar and staying far ahead is really important to me, so I literally spend most of my life trying to find the dates that are important, the new films, the new Netflix, the new whatever, putting it into a calendar so we can all be far ahead. So if you, for example, missed the Barbie movie that was out last year and you'd like to be more in the know, then you can have a look at all the dates on my website, and I'm just working on 25 now. I also have a downloadable guide that can help you get ready for Christmas, so make sure you have a look at that in the bio too. Okay, so that's it for September prep. I hope you've enjoyed my content ideas, and come back for some for October. I'm excited already. Won't be long until it's Halloween. If you feel like you need a little bit more help, I've got a book called How to Instagram Like a Pro. It's a downloadable book, and it will help you to master your social media. I'll give you loads of ideas and loads of actionable tips. Download it, link in bio.